Have you ever wondered what would happen if instead of Shidou, Sae actually played with Rin against Blue Lock in the Blue Lock 11 versus U-20 Japan match? How would this affect the story? And more importantly, would Blue Lock still be able to win against U-20 with their #1 player against them? Well, let's start going over it. You see, before Sae Itoshi became known as one of the best midfielders in the world after he trained in Real in Spain, his ultimate goal was to become the best striker in the world. But after he experienced just how brutal football in Europe really was, his entire perspective changed. He switched his goal to becoming the best midfielder in the world, as he realized that Japanese football was mediocre compared to the rest. As time went on, he became a member of the New Generation World 11, a group of young and talented players from all over the world who were seen as the next super generation. Some other members are Don Lorenzo from Ubers and Michael Kaiser from Bastard Munchen, who we both see in the Neo-Egoist League. But what if, after Sae was invited to play, he actually chose Rin to play with him? Well, this would ultimately cause a massive change in the storyline, which will then cause a chain reaction that's going to affect the future arc of Blue Lock. You see, before Rin awakened his ego during the U-20 match, he was already a beast. But the reason why he was so driven was the fact that he wanted to get revenge on his brother and eventually replace him. But now that Sae and him are on the same side, what is Rin going to do? Well, if Sae outright calls Rin lukewarm, then he'll still be the Rin we know and love today, and his true ego might even awaken at an earlier stage during the match. And even if Sae doesn't manage to make Rin into the instinctive monster we know, then Isagi is there to stir things up as Rin's supposed rival. So let's get right into the story. And first, let's answer the most obvious question of all. Is Ego Jinpachi even going to agree to let Rin and Sae play together? And I think that he will. Ego is a man who isn't afraid to take risks, and I think he's going to let the brothers be teammates in order to help the other members of Blue Lock evolve. This means that Shidou would be the center of the Blue Lock 11 team. The other members of Blue Lock 11 would be the same, and their positions wouldn't change. But there's just one problem here. Sure, Shidou can match Rin in terms of scoring and shooting, but as of now, just like Ego mentioned in chapter 109, there's no one in Blue Lock that can handle Shidou. That's the reason why Ego wanted Shidou to be his joker. But now, Sae chose Rin, and Ego gets Shidou, so their overall strategy would have to change. They have to match Shidou's violent, impulsive, and explosive playstyle, and it's up to their midfielders, especially Isagi, to make it work. Now, I'm no soccer strategist myself, but what I think Ego would do here is that he'll allow Shidou to have as much freedom as he can, giving him the entire spotlight, while the rest of Blue Lock works like a well-oiled machine to not only use Shidou as their main scoring pipeline, but as a distraction for the others to take advantage of. The other catalyst in this match would be Rin's motivation. You see, he was dead set on winning against Sae, to the point where he even worked with Isagi and encouraged him at several moments. But how motivated will Rin be now that he's playing with Sae and not against him? Well, I'll go as far as to say that Rin would be just as motivated or even more fired up. His main goal now is to prove to Sae that he can win a match while surpassing Sae's expectations. With 15 days left, Blue Lock prepares as much as it can for possibly their hardest match ever. They're not only up against a member of the New Generation World 11, but their top striker too. Before the match, Aiku would still propose the gamble to Sae to let them win without using Rin. But unlike in the original series, I don't think Sae is going to agree with this proposal, because deep inside, he's curious at what his brother can offer, and if Blue Lock did have an impact on Rin. This means that, as the match starts, the U-20 Japan team will be at their full strength. As the game begins, U-20 Japan with Sae and Rin finally facing off against the Blue Lock 11 with Shidou in the lead. The formation of U-20 will mostly stay the same, except for Teru Kitsunezatio being subbed out in exchange for Rin. Shuto Sendo will then move on to be the right wing, while Rin becomes the main forward. Meanwhile, when it comes to the formation of Blue Lock 11, Shidou is just going to replace Rin. Hey, it's Natsu mid-editing here, and I just wanted to pause the video to ask you to subscribe if you haven't already, and while you're already down there, why not leave a like as well? It's time for kickoff, and Blue Lock goes on the attack. At first, they managed to surprise the U-20 team, but as time went on, they became more familiar with Blue Lock's strategy. This is especially true for Rin, who played with or against most of the Blue Lock 11 players. Adding Aiku's impressive defense, Blue Lock now starts to struggle to break through, and the ball goes to Sae Itoshi. The U-20 counterattack begins, and they quickly push forward and past Blue Lock's defense. To test his brother, Sae makes an almost impossible pass, and who better to receive it than Rin? This is Blue Lock's worst nightmare, and even though Gagamaru the GOAT tries his hardest, Rin is just too good. Rin scores a goal, turning the score 0-1 in favor of U-20 Japan. But even when Rin scored, Sae still called him lukewarm. pissing Rin off and making him even more determined to prove Sae wrong. With Blue Lock in possession of the goal, they begin another round of attacks, and luckily, their strategy begins to pay off. Bachira makes a wild pass towards the center, being received by Isagi himself. But instead of taking a shot, Isagi deduces that it's time for them to show Japan that they exist, and passes it to Shidou. As soon as Shidou received the ball, he immediately drove it past the U-20 goalie, scoring a spectacular goal. The game is now tied 1-1. Blue Lock tried again for another goal, but they failed, and now U-20 is on a counter that's being led by Sae. The surprising thing here is that instead of passing it to somebody else, Sae rushes in toward the net, outclassing everyone in his way. He doesn't pass, and instead, he shoots just before the halftime mark, scoring another goal. And this pisses Rin off even more. The score is 2-1 and U-20 Japan is in the lead. Blue Lock re-strategizes during halftime, and Shidou assures them that he's going to blow everyone away. The second half begins, and Blue Lock manages to charge in with Nagi, Isagi, and Chigiri, plus some help from Karasu and Otoya. With their combined efforts, Isagi pulls off a clean direct shot, tying the game once more. And in classic Isagi fashion, he throws a slur at the Itoshi brothers. With the game being tied again with 2 goals for each team, it slowly unravels into a stalemate. Slowly but surely the players are entering a state of flow, and Blue Lock is making some solid ground. Out of nowhere, after receiving a trap and pass from Nagi, Shidou scores a near impossible goal, pushing Blue Lock into the lead, 3-2. But U-20 immediately fires back as Rin goes into his destructive flow state, tying things once more, 3-3. Time's running out, and just as Rin kicks off another deadly shot, Gagamaru is able to block it and give Blue Lock a chance to fight back. But here's where things change even more. You see, in the original timeline, Isagi was able to take advantage of both Sae and Rin, and with a little bit of luck, secure the match for Blue Lock. But this time, Lady Luck's not on his side. Everyone thought he was going to score another one. It was clear, and the goalie was out of position. Yet, as he shoots, Rin blocks his shot, causing the ball to spiral out of control towards Blue Lock's side of the field. And who just happens to be waiting there? It's none other than Sae. In an instant, while Blue Lock was out of position, he dashed towards the goal, and while my goat Gagamaru reacted, he couldn't save the day. Sae scores the final goal, ending the match with 4-3. It's a heartbreaking end to Blue Lock's story, and as a part of Ego's deal with the Japanese Football Association, Blue Lock was shut down, and all of the players involved in the program ended their careers with a resounding loss. I'll assume Rin goes on to continue being a player, since he played for the U-20 team, but when it comes to how far he can go, it's hard to predict. But what do you think? Would Blue Lock lose if Sae chose Rin Itoshi instead of Shidou in the U-20 match? Please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you're at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video, which will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching and have a great day. Bye.